author Salman Rushdie is now said to be on a ventilator, and according to reports that have come in, he could also lose an eye following a stabbing attack at a literary event in New York. Now, the Indian-born British author of the Satanic Verses had to be airlifted to a hospital for an emergency surgery following the attack. Now, according to his agent, Rushdie is likely to lose at least one eye, and the nerves in his arm were severed after the attack. His liver also sustained damage because of the vicious stabbing that he underwent from the attacker. Now, Rushdie is being treated at a hospital in Pennsylvania, and according to the witnesses, the assailant had rushed onto the stage where Rushdie was seated and then stabbed him multiple times. Now, several people ran onto the stage and took the suspect down to the ground before a trooper who was present at the event arrested him. A doctor in the audience then tried to administer first aid until the emergency first responders arrived. Now, the New York State Police has identified the attacker as Hadi Matar, a 24-year-old from Fairfield, New Jersey. At this point of time, the motive for the stabbing attack still remains unclear.
The suspect has been identified as Hadi Matar, age 24, from Fairview, New Jersey. Earlier today, at approximately 10:47 a.m., guest speaker Salman Rushdie, age 75, and Ralph Henry Reese, age 73, had just arrived on stage at the institution. Shortly thereafter, the suspect jumped onto the stage and attacked Mr. Rushdie, stabbing him at least once in the neck and at least once in the abdomen.
Now, several politicians from around the world and also the colleagues of author Salman Rushdie have posted messages of support for the author. The French President Emmanuel Macron, in a social media post, has said that his fight is our fight and it is universal. The British Prime Minister Boris Johnson also said that he's appalled that Rushdie was stabbed while exercising a right that we should never cease to defend. Human rights activists have also raised some serious concerns over the attack on the Man Booker Prize winning author.
Salman has been and is known as a fearless advocate of creative thinkers, of writers, an advocate of freedom of speech, of freedom of choice, of freedom of thought, of democracy and open societies. He and his books have become iconic in that cause. And so to see him struck down by violence, not by someone who had an answer to his points, but by someone who senselessly, violently wanted to silence his voice, really just illustrates one of the great dividing lines in our world today.
Now remember, at this point of time, the motive of this attack is not clear, but a lot of people are speculating that it is quite possible that this may perhaps be linked to the fatwa that was issued way back in the year 1988, when Iran's former leader Ayatollah Khomeini had issued a fatwa for his killing, as it was deemed that his book, The Satanic Verses, was blasphemous. And also to give us more updates in terms of what's been happening in New York in terms of the investigation as to how this case is, of course, progressing, we're being joined by Lenka White, who's a senior journalist who is joining us live from New York. Lenka, this of course is a case that has shocked everyone around the world. Now, author Salman Rushdie was said to be at a literary event. He was about to address the audience when he was suddenly attacked by by this individual who's been identified as Hadi, a 24-year-old man. Now, what more information do we have at this point of time about the motive of this attack on Salman Rushdie?
Hello from New York. Unfortunately, so far, as you already mentioned, the motive of the action has been not very clear. There are, of course, suspicions of what could have happened. But the police so far, I think, is mostly thinking that it has been a lonely attacker, by himself. And we so far don't know if he has been linked maybe to the Iranian institutions or has been inspired by whatever happened in the past or by the decree itself which was issued. So there has been a lot of unclear, but I have personally read reports from the news and from Reuters, and they, for example, mentioned that the Lebanese Hezbollah has expressed themselves that they have no connection with that.
Right.
So it's very unclear, and we are hoping they will get to the core soon, because it's a shocking event.
Absolutely, indeed. At this point of time, Lenka, do we have information in terms of what the condition of Salman Rushdie is? We're given to understand that he is on a ventilator and he could also end up losing an eye.
Yes, that's definitely correct. The New York, has sent this information that he's on a ventilator. He might lose an eye. He also has some bones in his abdomen, and also might be losing nerve in his hand. So, there has been about 7 to 10 stabbing motions into his body. So one can imagine it's might be a miracle that he's actually alive. He's already 75 years old. So everyone is, of course, concerned, and the New York officials have expressed their sadness and wishing him luck in recovery.
Absolutely, indeed. Thank you very much indeed, Lenka, for joining us and getting us all those updates there. WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.